Hello and welcome to the Empowered Wisdom Hour. It is the first week of September 2020 and I'm your host, Molly McCartney. For those who don't know me, I'm a spiritual life coach, intuitive medium, and energy therapist with over 20 years of experience on my path. My mission is to help empower your wisdom and spiritual gifts so you can find peace no matter what you are dealing with. So, and a little update for this show, and until further notice, I've been accepting my limitations, and I've realized it's going to work better if I offer you some bite-sized pieces of wisdom instead of one big show whenever I have the time. And I want to be consistent with you. So this is my new experiment. The Empowered Wisdom Hour is now going to be delivered in several shorter segments each month. I'm calling minisodes, with a minisode coming out once a week or so. So follow the show on Podbean or go to mollymccartney.com/podcast and sign up for updates to be notified when new episodes or minisodes are published. Now on to the mini show. So this week's message is shine your light and set the example. And if you've been paying attention to the world in 2020 and you are a spiritually aware being, someone who wants to be a little bit more aware, someone who's intuitive, spiritually sensitive, easily affected by chaotic energies, you know exactly what I am talking about. I chose the same because of the escalating chaos in the media and in the world. It's hard to know what to trust if you look at things through your logical perspective and through the powers of normal observation. It's really important right now to be centered within yourself, centered within your inner knowing and your inner peace, and to go from there and to realize all the bits of information that are flying around out there are useful in their own way. But if you take them in through your intuitive filters and know which ones are important for you to take in and know about, and feel into that and know what the best action to take on it is for you, you're going to be much less stressed out, much less overwhelmed, much less depressed and anxious than if you allow everything to just tug your focus left and right. You know, as I've been saying to myself, enough is enough 2020. I've got to find my center. I've got to find that peaceful light inside of me because that's why I came here to this planet. And I'm sure if you're listening, part of you, if not all of you, feels that way too. You came here to be a positive influence, or you know you want to grow and heal to become a positive influence. So let's hold down the light. Let's get in touch with that and just know that that is powerful, even in the quietude of peace and in the silence of meditation and the quiet, gentle pleasure of being okay with what is and doing what you can do in the moment, being present to what is, not ignoring it, no spiritual bypassing allowed, but being present to it, having intelligent conversations, taking smart steps and wise steps along the path to be a part of the solution and be a part of the balance in the whole, but not so much fighting what is. Because when we fight what is, we're in our heads, we're in our minds, and we're just adding to the chaos. And that's a really key point to understand on the spiritual path. Every time you're in a state of argument, which I'm seeing a lot of online on social media, and just, you know, one news story will argue with another news story. We have a political political year that's nothing but mudslinging. There's no real solutions being offered by anybody. So you get argument. And when we're in this total environment of constant chaos and constant conflict. And it's like some of us feel like kids in a house where the parents are constantly fighting, and it's very upsetting. So the key is to notice that if you are adding at all to the arguments that the ones that go nowhere, you know what I'm talking about, you're just adding to that noise. But here's a new idea. What if, as a spiritual being, as someone who came here to shine light, you added to the stillness, you added to the opposite to bring balance to the planet? Not because it's better, per se. You know, I might have my opinion on that. I'm not saying it's right. I prefer stillness, balance, harmony, peace. But I do know we need the chaos and the conflict for forward movement and evolution. It's important, right? So I'm not making it wrong or bad. I'm simply saying if you feel more in alignment with that, why not add to that? And especially if you feel that you're suffering because of the way the energies of the world have started to kind of be in upheaval constantly, maybe it's time to change your focus. And the power of focus is really the only power we truly have. So this week on social media, I do post daily, for the most part, on my social media pages at Empower Your Wisdom on Facebook and Instagram. And this week, the message was the message of the rattle. And that's the other reason why I'm talking about this in today's mini episode. About shining your light and setting the example. Because the message of the rattle in the Oracle deck that I use, it really speaks to the idea that you can set the rhythm with conscious awareness, and that the rattle is symbolic of a small tool. It's not the loudest drum in the circle. It's a small little rhythmic tool. But once it's set, once the elder holds that awareness and that rhythm, all the other beats follow. All the other drums start to follow. And it's also powerful alone. It doesn't need everything else to follow in order to be a powerful tool for meditation and trance and journeying. And so if you can imagine yourself as a spiritual tool, a vibrational tool used by the peace of God, the peace of the universe, the peace and the order and the balance of all that is, and you can come into the chaos with that sense of rhythm and not missing a beat, not skipping a beat because something has you down. You've given something else outside of yourself more power than your spiritual self. Then perhaps you can believe too that other people will recognize that and want to follow. They'll want to know, how do you keep your rhythm? How do you stay so still? How do you stay so, calm? And keeping that balance and in the chaos, people are starting to seek that simplicity. And so, be that. Don't necessarily feel like you have to follow everything else. Turn off the news, turn off the media, go outside, be with the trees. That's always my main advice, right? Be outside, connect with the earth. The world is human-made. The earth is made by God, by all that is. And while, yes, God made us too, we tend to do our own things with that, with these little brains that we've been given that can be very upsetting sometimes. So whether it's in your personal life or because of the world at large, just remember you can be an instrument of that peace, stillness, wisdom, love, clarity for yourself and everyone else. And if you're struggling with that and you'd like some support, please always know that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to support you in being the light you wish to see in the world. So definitely stop by my website, mollymccartney.com, set up a session, and we will talk. So on to our message of the week for this mini episode. And I did go into a channeling state to ask my guides, the silence, what they had to say about shining our lights to set the example in the world. I wanted their eloquent words to come forth and share what they thought about it. So I'm going to share that next, and I hope you enjoy it. So this next passage I'm about to read is my guide's answer to what is meant by the phrase, shine your light and set the example. Why is it so important? How can we as humans really grasp that idea beyond its simplicity of a nice, sweet thing to say? And, just be the happiest person in the room. Just smile at everybody. Just be easygoing. Like, what is it really saying to us, that phrase? And what does it mean from the inside out? The brightest celestial bodies are those that help humans navigate their physical reality. Without the illumination of stars, so many would be lost. Without the movements of the sun and the moon, you would have no way of organizing your sense of time. Humans need this sense of time and space, and you are designed to operate better with parameters that you can expect and define. Without these parameters, you fall back into your instinct, that fight or flight place, a place of self-defense and fear. Without parameters, you do not know who or what you are, or what the point is to any of it. Therefore, you grew to prefer a notion of light, dark, day, and night, along with the ability to measure your space and count your steps. Familiar points of light make you comfortable, and when you are comfortable, you are more open to creative play. When you're open to creative play, you are open to creating a reality that is much more interesting than the one your egoic natures have created. This is a reality based on war, opposition, and competition. A reality where you are detached from the natural balance of your planet and the natural balance of yourselves. You no longer listen to the little things. Even those who try to bring humans back to the little things can be corrupted by the cycle of power, attention, and fame leadership can bring. It takes a very strong soul to avoid corruption when leading at a large scale. That is why we ask you now not to look to any leadership to save you from yourselves. You must now decide what kind of reality you wish to experience and make it so within your own physical, mental, and emotional space. Choose the little joys and follow that feeling, that joyful feeling, to the next choice. Such a mess is made by those who choose what they think they want and move from place to place looking for their joy under every physical rock. It's exhausting for you, and we wish much more, so much more as possible. This is what we mean when we say follow your joy. When you do this from within your own psyche, eventually others begin to notice. And the path of following joy always, without failure, leads to a desire to show the way for others. Not for your own fortune, no, for theirs. And maybe in one way it is for your own fortune, because a world full of people following their actual joy instead of the thoughts they think will bring them joy is a world that is very pleasant for all to live in. So many problems seem to evaporate in a world like this. And we do not mean to fool you by saying the earth plane will someday be completely like this, but we do say you came here knowing deep within you that you have a choice. Will you choose the path of the mind-made self? Or will you choose to follow your spirit? Will you try to make it all happen, or will you have faith that a power much greater than yourself wishes to flow through you to make everything in your world so much easier? When you live in this example, it shows, and it spreads. This is what we mean when we tell you to shine your light and set the rhythm. If anger, hatred, sadness, and despair are so contagious, why would joy, clarity, wisdom, and balance not be as well? If you could only see it as we see it, what a beautiful story is unfolding on planet Earth. So that's the message for this week. And that's the short version of why it's so important to shine your light from within and set the example. If you're like me, sometimes you struggle with your sensitivity and you feel like the world is just too big, too crazy, so you hide away, put your light under a bushel, as the old Bible story goes. And I'm sure there's other religious stories out there, but, technically we're just talking about not being in your joy and showing who you are, sharing your gifts, despite how messy the world is around you. And if you're like that, if you identify with that statement, remember that you're one of the people that came here to help the balance, to bring color to the black and white picture, to bring perspective to the sadness, to bring higher meaning to something that seems meaningless and difficult. So I'll leave you with that and send you off with love, blessings, all the good things for your personal life and the way you're viewing the world right now. Have faith, stay in the moment, and embrace your inner wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me for this minisode of the Empowered Wisdom Hour. Again, I'm Molly McCartney. I'm a spiritual life coach, intuitive medium, and energy therapist with over 20 years of experience. My mission is to help empower your wisdom and spiritual gifts so you can find peace no matter what you're dealing with. I offer private readings and coaching sessions in person and by phone all over the world. You can check out my website at mollymccartney.com. I'd love to work with you if you feel drawn to my offerings and my message. So please sign up for a free discovery session on my website booking page if you have any questions on how to get started. Also, don't forget to sign up for updates on the podcast page to get direct invitations to view new episodes or to listen to new episodes. You can also follow me at Empower Your Wisdom on Facebook and Instagram for daily inspiration and encouragement. And feel free to pledge a few bucks on the Podbean homepage if you just love the podcast and want to keep the wisdom flowing. There's a button there that you can go. It says Be a Patron. I welcome any and all amounts, and you can cancel at any time. For now, may you stay well and be at peace till next time. I'll talk to you soon.